interesting. Very interesting.
But I also had like 4 videos pulled up at once, so it could be that too.
Stop, everybody.
I'm live in the thingamajig too.
Jiggy miggy, biggy biggy, jiggy. Yeah.
Why does it keep doing that? Is it pausing the screen when I click off, Ryan? In the Discord?
Nope. Not so far.
Okay.
Smooth as eggs.
Maybe it just pauses it on my end.
Maybe. That might be the first time I've said that. That's the thing you always say.
What?
It just can't smooth as eggs. It just came out without
Yeah.
thinking about it.
And we're rubbing off on each other.
That's what she said.
Let's get this shirt out, boys.
Get the shirt out. Is that some
Shirt
kind
out.
of slang?
Get this shirt out.
Shared out. Okay. I
No,
get
shirt.
it.
Shirt.
Yeah, shirt. Get it.
I
Shirt.
could be saying share, shart, or shard.
Like, or you could be saying shirt, like shirt up. Go
That's
shirt
true.
this thing up.
It's got 4 different meanings.
Yeah.
Skeleton ran out of shampoo in the shower. The skeleton ran out of shampoo in the shower.
Skeletons, shampoos, and showers are running out of things. It's almost like you completely ruined that. Shut up.
It's like, what was I thinking?
Whale's vagina. Santiago. Alrighty, cuss. Ready to roll, cuss. We share tap, cuss. Alright, I guess I'll take a bathroom break. I'll be ready when you are.
Put all that in there. I erased my message. Ooh, awkward silence.
What?
Hmm?
Hmm?
Hmm? No, Reddit, I don't want your information right now. Get out of here. There we go. That's what I wanted it to do. Did you share to the DDG group, Ryan? Oh, he got up and left.
I'm gonna take a bathroom break.
Literally. He went and peed out his window. I like this track. Alright.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Love this track.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I could hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it on your end, huh?
No, you never can for some reason.
On the video, you can't? Weird. But you can hear our voices.
No, you can't hear anything on Discord. I think you got to be listening to both. Like this, you got to be in the chat, and I don't know. It's just never there.
It's weird.
Yep, never has been.
Oh, but they can probably hear it through Discord. I get what you're saying now. It's only produced in the video.
Right.
Alright, let's do this. Jeez, I had a lot of stuff pulled up.
Jeez.
Just
I don't for once, actually. I've got 3 pages pulled up. Usually I've got like 14 pages over there for the news.
I got 1 page.
1 page up.
Yeah.
You got 1 page up. Alright, let's get it, guys. Here we go.
All right, let's start this thing. Episode 70.
Yep. Old man
Tick,
stuff.
tick, tock.
All right.
Whoa.
This episode is brought to you by Click Gaming. Already messed up. This episode is brought to you by Click Gaming, a freelance esports tournament company based out of Oklahoma. If you are located in the U.S. and need esports services, this is the ultimate gaming company for you. Contact Johnny Weaver at icychiller@att.net. That's ICYCHILLER. Tonight on the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast.
You can play this thing on a toaster.
Upcoming games and the ones we currently play.
Welcome to the village.
And now, the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Delirious Dads Gaming Podcast, episode 70. I'm Clinton Stanley.
Yes. I love getting him like that. It's so
Always.
easy to get Clint right in the beginning.
Ryan can't help it. I'm Clinton
Love you guys.
Stanley. I'm Clinton Stanley. And this is my cohort, not my confidant, Ryan Maddox.
Well,
I hate you. And we also got Hunter Venable, who is polite.
What's up? How's it going?
he's just been beaten into submission. That's all. It's not
Yeah.
that he's polite. It's like a dog that's been whipped too many times.
Pretty much. It's just my life right now in every aspect. Just a real
That's okay. We've all been
Especially
there.
with Clint. He's kind of brutal.
Oh, whatever. I don't believe it one bit.
I would say he's a slave driver, but that's kind of not very good thing to say at this current time in history.
Wow.
I guess I said it.
Horrible. Yeah, you did. You can't take it back.
But I said it in negative terms because obviously it's a bad thing.
Right. But you know what is not a bad thing?
The show?
Your news article tonight. Sounds pretty cool. We're not going to talk about it just yet, but
You almost got me
we're gonna
excited.
talk about it.
My news article's real good. I mean, I don't know what you guys have, but I know mine's better. It's one of those kind of things.
I hate to break it to you, your fan is loud.
My fan is loud all of a sudden?
Not anymore.
Nope. Okay. Must just
That's
take
weird.
must just taking a minute to sound cancel.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I had actually muted my mic instead of Discord because I forgot I got that nifty button down there now.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it probably was my actual pickup.
Oh, okay.
My little, box, whatever it's called, Focusrite. You know what I'm saying? They're
So
not a
you're
sponsor yet.
So everybody's sitting here thinking, well, what's this show going to be about? It's going to be about stuff and things, as Rick Grimes would say.
It's going to be about video games. I don't know, Delirious Dad's Gaming. And it's also going to be about, Dad's ramblings. Usually. That's always part of the show.
Always.
Some
But
special stuff we're covering though, right?
yeah,
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
I think so
Maybe some hints in the background here.
if you like the color blue,
He said
you're
maybe some
probably-
hints in the background. I like that.
if
You
you
guys
like,
don't know what he's saying if you don't watch live.
Mm-mm.
So check us out live on Wednesday nights at 7.
Yes.
oh yeah, if you like the color blue, then tonight's for you because we're talking about the PlayStation 5 games reveal event that kicked off earlier this week.
There's
That's
mixed
right.
feelings on this whole thing. I don't
Well,
really have
I
I
say
don't really have
earlier-
mixed feelings.
Well, I say earlier this week. We're gonna say last week.
Mm.
Yeah, within a week of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we mean.
Yeah, there was some mixed feelings. I had a friend of mine that's an Xbox guy. He just straight up was like, "Clint, really? You put out a post praising this thing? It was garbage." I was like, "Wow."
I
But-
confidently feel that we all expect more when a new console comes out, but we're at such a high level now that you're just not going to see that on the initial opening, if that makes sense. It's going to take time to get there. But on the other hand, I don't think Xbox is going to be any different. They never are. They're always like right with each other. Why would they ever go leaps and bounds ahead if they don't have to, right? They like to just enough.
Play it close to the vest, as they do in poker. I thought it was overall a pretty good event, but I kind of have a different style, you know.
Like an ugly one? Is that what you mean?
No, good style. I think we lost Hunter, though.
I'm here. I'm just, for some reason, I lost you on Skype. But
okay. Well, you're in a good position on the picture, so that's
it's a good freeze.
Yeah. It's not like super embarrassing.
That's pretty rare too. Like mine always freeze in the derp face. No offense.
If you have a stuck derp face, we apologize. But yeah, so the event was pretty good to me, but I have a different taste in games sometimes. Ryan, he's very much the more realistic it looks, as far as, I can't tell this is a game, the happier he is, which I am that way. But
well, hold on. Don't get me wrong. I love cartoony games. Like I like Overwatch in that style. Borderlands is one of my favorite games. So I love all the different artistic styles. But the best way to see the performance of a console, in the sense of knowing, dang, this is about to be some beast games we're going to see, is to see some of that photorealistic, really high res looking graphics with tons of depth and sheen and all that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, that is what I look for when they're announcing a new console, for sure. But not in every game. I know better than that.
Right.
We lost everybody on the deal.
Yeah, I'm calling you guys back.
I just tried to join a call, so I don't know what happened.
You kicked us out. That's what happened.
Was I hosting it? How did I kick you out?
You might have been hosting. Maybe that's why you froze. I don't know. It's calling you now, though.
Clicking the big old answer.
Okay, but what's going on here?
Okay, I'm in.
Ryan's back. Hunt Dog is not back.
It's not letting me join on this laptop.
Weird.
It
Interesting.
says, oops, something went wrong. It's obviously not picking up very well on this laptop right now. I don't know why. But it is. You guys might just keep going, and then if it lets me join eventually.
Okay. Either way.
You guys can just hear my sweet voice. You don't have to see me on Facebook tonight.
I mean,
you still got your picture, and you still look good. So
yeah, you still got your sweet PlayStation background you're representing.
Yeah.
We could just lie to everybody from here on out and act like you're in the Bahamas or something, and we just pulled in a picture for right now. You're still doing the show because you're super committed.
Right.
Right. So I agree with you, though, Ryan, on that topic. And I also think that, it's never the same product when you have a launch. There's so much that comes out from here to there. There's more things to be told. It's just,
And the history books show this. I mean, when Nintendo 64 came out, which was like huge because it was the first machine to come out, the first platform to come out that was 3D compared to our 2D graphics that we're used to.
Mind-blowing.
We had Mario, we had Star Fox, and we had like maybe some race games. I think maybe 007 had came out around that time, but that was it. All good games, they were good classic games, but there wasn't, they weren't knocking it out of the park. Like Mario Kart wasn't here yet, Mario Party, all that different kind of stuff. So, and even with your PlayStation and your Xbox, Halo, I guess, would be your breakout star of Xbox at that time.
Right.
But, did it come out at launch? I remember when I bought the Xbox, I had the Halo edition. Like, I got it with the Xbox. But I think I bought the Xbox a little bit late. So I don't know if that was a right out of the gate situation or what.
Right. I think, I don't remember how Halo went, but Halo was actually developed, I thought. I shared this story the other day on here, but it had something to do with Apple or something, and then they sold it to Microsoft or something like that. I don't remember.
Well, so yeah, launches are kind of meh on all fronts, I think. But we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to throw it into the Leaks for Geeks segment tonight because it is news, but it's definitely going to be more discussion based as we work our way through the event. Chronological. So here we go. Leaks for Geeks. All right, guys, it's time for the Leaks for the Geeks and the PlayStation 5 reveal news.
Are you geeks ready? Some of you already know, but some of you, we love you guys. You specifically wait to get your gaming news from the Delirious Dads. And that's why we bring it every week. We bring the gaming news because, what a better way to get your news just by listening to some people you love rather than having to get on there and read it and research it yourself. Mm-hmm. We'll just tell you everything you need to know. And if we're wrong, then you can be mad. If we're right, you can love us.
That's right. So as we said, the PlayStation 5 games event recently took place, and it was interesting. There were some good titles, and there were some awkward moments. I did get to watch the entire thing through the night or the day that it went out. So I just kind of hung out with the kiddos and let them climb on my face and punch me in the head and
nice.
Kick me in the crotch, all that fun stuff that happens when you have kids. Did that and watched the PlayStation 5 games event. And
nice.
And Ryan and Hunter, you both got to look at some of it, correct?
Yeah.
I actually watched almost all of it just to kind of make sure I knew what was going on and had a good feel for what's coming out.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to make sure of, that we all got to at least see a little bit of it. I am going to play a little bit in the live video for those of you who are wanting to check out some of it. I'm not going to play the whole thing all the way through because, I don't want to just straight up steal all their content. But, but yeah, overall the event was good. I really like the graphics and things that they put into it. I mean, they really amped it up, put in a lot of work into the event. And the games that they announced were pretty fun. Now, there were some things that I just, to me, wasn't that exciting. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things right out of the gate was, of course, Grand Theft Auto 5. They start the intro, as you'll see in the video. They start the intro with Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer, and it wasn't even PlayStation 5 graphics. It was still PlayStation 4 graphics. So
I just don't think you should ever start your launch with a game that already exists. We're gonna launch. Yeah. We're gonna launch with an update. What are you talking about? That's like launching and showing the new WoW upgrade. Who cares?
Yeah,
we're wanting to know what's new. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that was a bad choice for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, they show you the Grand Theft Auto. It's a new little trailer they put together, but it's still PlayStation 4 graphics. And they basically announced it's coming out on PS5 in 2021. You'll get an upgraded graphics on that, and there's also some other little attachments with it that they announced, which was all PlayStation 5 owners will get Grand Theft Auto Online free. So that was one big one for them. Okay. And then for their PlayStation 4 counterparts, they have stated that moving forward, once a month, current PlayStation 4 owners of GTA will get $1 million sent to their online account per month, up to the release of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of, the hookup.
That's what they did. That's why they put it in there first, was basically to go, hey, look, we're about to throw you guys a freebie. When you buy this, here's some extra value. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. Problem is, most people already own the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing if you already own the game, you don't have to pay for it again. So that makes sense that it would be free on 5. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so here's the other problem to that too, is we've played the game for 2 generations now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people forget that with Grand Theft Auto, it started on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then came out on PC later on, and they upgraded it to PS4 and Xbox One. Right. So at this point, it's like Rockstar, what the freak, man?
Well, there's a lot of people
Right.
that have been saying, when are we going to get a new iteration?
Mhm.
I mean, it's such a good game. We understand you got online, and a lot of times when you get an online version of a game like that, the life of the life expectancy is much longer, which it has been, and they've made a lot off the franchise, off that specific chapter in the franchise. But at the same time, when do we get 6 or whatever you want to call the next one? Grand Theft Auto people would lose their minds, I think, if a sweet new Grand Theft Auto was coming out. You know, it's got freaking one of the biggest cult followings there is for games.
Okay, well, one of the weird deals here is there was no expansion to it.
Yeah.
So, there wasn't. It's not even like there was anything new coming to the online play or the current story.
Oh yeah, they only announced
It's solely graphics. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you watch a highlight video of upcoming PC games, okay, and you have MMOs like Elder Scrolls Online and WoW, you're not going to put their deal on there and be like, hey, look, we're upgrading its graphics to this new PC, or
not without something that's going to.
It's going to be, hey, here's the new expansion,
players.
Right? It's the new expansion.
Nobody's going to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 just because it's got some graphics. You know what I mean? They're not.
Right.
So the fact that you're giving it for free, that's what I'm saying. It's a good thing. But at the same time, it's almost a false flag. It's like, okay, well, it's not like if I wasn't playing Grand Theft Auto 5, I'm not going to buy it now just because it looks better.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Now, I might buy it if it offers something new and interesting, a whole new expansion or something like that. But yeah, it's one of those. A bad choice. I think it's a bad choice to start with it.
Yeah.
Include it, just don't start with
I
it.
agree.
It could have been in the middle. That's the popcorn break section.
Or the end.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have been like, oh, and by the way, we're updating Grand Theft Auto's graphics and
everybody's gonna get it for free. Party time.
And you can get $1 million a week if you're playing on if you're playing on PC or PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
it's like just a little cherry on top. Like, oh, okay, sweet. Now we can do that too.
Yep. So after that, they did start going in the right direction. Luckily, they had the big reveal of this new game. Shows. We'll go ahead and throw up the video here so you guys can check it out. This one was a little more exciting, and they did put like a little message that all games going forward on this event were going to be PlayStation 5 graphics. So that's why we know that the Grand Theft Auto thing, it was just trash as far as, nothing new. So they go on, we see a reveal of, this red and blue hand coming up with some shrapnel and electricity, some kind of magic looking powers going on. And we get our first game that Hunter, I'm sure, is very excited about, which is they announced Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Heck yeah.
Now, when I first saw this, I didn't know. It took me a second to realize, oh, that's the kid from the Spider-Verse. Is who that is. So I didn't know that right offhand, but
I think that's a great twist that nobody really expected.
He's in the Spider-Man PS4 game too.
Oh, is he?
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a part of the game. You actually play as him, but you're not Spider-Man yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
now the graphics on him look freaking excellent. They did a great job with it.
Oh, it's just beautiful, dude.
Now, out of all the games actually that we're going to view tonight, in my opinion, this game, of course, some of this is going to be cinematic if you guys are watching the video or if you go check it out after we talk about it. But there's plenty here that makes it look like the mechanics and graphics of this game are going to be really good during gameplay.
Right.
And so that's something I'm always checking for that. Like Clint was saying, I'm checking, is this just cinematics? I hate it when people just show you just cinematics. We should be past that ever since PlayStation 2. That was the era for just cinematics that looked great. Now we want to see what the actual game looks like. Don't give me some super realistic video and then a game that looks like, some top-down, adventure game or something like that.
Right.
But, that game looks great.
Yeah.
Well, if they follow suit and it's anything like the last one, the graphics and the cutscenes should be pretty comparable. I mean, in fact, the way that the Spider-Man PS4 starts is a cutscene and it transitions you into the gameplay.
Right, kind of like Resident Evil did when I was like, wait, we're playing?
Yeah, exactly.
Just as good, yeah.
And I think that's the exciting thing probably about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever it's going to be called, is the fact that I think
Xbox mini fridge.
Yeah, they're going towards that, I think, which is the no loading screen. So maybe that's what they're trying to show you is the seamless transition. In one of the upcoming games we're about to talk about, they do that, and it looks really good. It was actually something that I was surprised it impressed me so much.
We didn't get a bunch of info on this game from the video that you just watched, but I did look into it, and it looks like they're definitely going to carry over and build on the fighting style and play style of the one that was so successful, its predecessor.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to lose what you loved about that one. It's supposed to just gain some more of that same kind of fighting.
Yeah,
and
that's set to come out during the holiday season, so which is good.
Sweet.
You'll probably get that if everything goes as planned. You'll get that one with the PlayStation 5. It'll be something you can buy on the side. The next game they announced, they had let's see here. Yeah, the next game they announced, which was pretty cool too, because we just recently talked about this game, or this game series rather, is they announced Gran Turismo 7. And
now we'll probably have a couple games that come up tonight, guys, while you're listening, that we're not going to dive into because they're just games that we didn't connect with. So we're not going to go over every single game here.
There's too many.
But the ones that matter, we're going to talk about a little bit. This game is ridiculous. I mean, if you're watching this is one of those. Okay, I'm going to say I do always go, yeah, but what about the actual gameplay? But this in the preview is so good that it does actually show you a new level, right? Because you've always had good-looking previews, if that makes sense. This preview is even better than the great-looking previews you've seen before.
Right, it's totally on par.
Oh, yeah. So I think even the preview gives you a taste of what the new system is going to be capable of.
Absolutely. And they did a good, what I really liked is they did a good gameplay trailer, too. Which was a huge totally on par.
And the gameplay trailer itself is, the graphics aren't as good as the preview, and you'll see that in a second if you're watching. But they still look beautiful, really good. Yeah.
Gran Turismo has always been one of those that their graphics have been above.
Oh yeah, they were mind blowing when they first came out. It was like, what?
I wish the gameplay wasn't so of a true racing, because I like the crazy racing stuff where you're blowing up other cars and stuff. But I do think this looks beautiful, and I'm sure that it is going to blow you away. I would buy it just to take a drive in that environment.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell if you check out the preview that they are moving more and more towards these, a lot of guys, they like to actually have their whole racing station set up, the racing sim station. And so you can tell by the design of the game, the camera shot that you're going to have while you're playing, that they're really pushing in this preview, which I'm sure you can have a above hood view too, like a lot of these games offer. But people, this is what they want to play nowadays. This is what's popular. It's that view from inside the car where you feel like you're actually driving. You can have your multiple screens set up and look out your side windows. You know what I mean? And that's what you're going to see Gran Turismo play to, because that's what's good right now. That's what's hot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep, and it looked really good. They briefly showed off the menu, the actual gameplay menu, and it sets up kind of like a GPS map, if you will. Is what it kind of reminded me of, like some kind of futuristic GPS map, and that's where you can pick if you want to go do some training, if you want to do racing, if you want to go to the workshop, and work on your vehicle. So that was a real positive going forward with that. So yeah. So
what I'd like to see in a game would be like, and maybe this exists and I just don't know it because I'm not a huge racing game fan, but this sounds like a great concept. Like some of the games Hunter was mentioning where you can actually, wreck each other and tear down the environment as you're going. And there's games that do that now. Some of those games, you really work to get a super nice car and build your car up and add to it and all this. What would be sweet is if they had almost an online portion of the game to where you can go do like pink slip races and stuff like that that's outside of the main campaign of the game, and swap, someone can win your car or you can win their car. You can put everything on the line if you want to. Kind of a freedom to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say that probably hinges on at that point if you have like the cheaters hopping in and hacking or something.
Yeah.
That might
And
become a problem. But
that could be considered their gambling thing too, that they shut down.
Yeah, they are coming against some of that nowadays.
yeah, it's interesting how they do it. I mean, in Grand Theft Auto, we have a full casino and can go gamble all we want, but it's not really against other people, so who cares?
And you're not losing your real money unless you're going out and buying more money, which at that point, like you know what I'm saying? You have to buy the money, then walk over it, then put it in, so it's like,
right.
It's not like you're losing money, your real money on a spin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they've got their gray area. They got around it.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the next game that they went into is kind of it's almost an unsung hero for me. Out of all the games they announced, graphically and physics wise, this game was the most impressive to me. It just, for some reason, I just saw good potential in it, and that is the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart game.
Yeah.
So, as you'll see here on the video that I'm about to play for you all, Ratchet and Clank, they start off with kind of a trailer. You go in and you see Ratchet and Clank, flying through space.
Oh, and the graphics on this game, even during the cinematic portion, are amazing. Like, as soon as this starts, I'm almost like, oh, it's kind of like some Avatar stuff. Like, it just looks really immersive.
That's what somebody put on here. They said that it looks like a Pixar movie come to life.
Yeah. And really the thing about it is everything was so seamless in it. They did a really good job with that. So you literally go from the cinematic to
the preview froze on my end.
Me too.
It keeps giving me issues. I don't know why.
Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry,
good.
guys. All right, it's going
have
again.
Have to keep refreshing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So the graphics are just awesome. It's fast.
You guys got to remember, this is actually going to be not as good. At tonight, it's not as good as reality because it's going over the internet on a stream, right? So it's not going to be the same quality as playing it. We're also not playing it in 4K, and you're not getting the kind of HDR that you're going to get out of your new displays. So you're getting there's going to be a big bump just between this and what it actually looks like when you play. And so this game just looks so immersive, and so one of the things that jumped out to me was the and we actually just talked about on the last show was how these games are pushing to more environmental, not destruction and interaction, but movement, right? There's something going on everywhere. Like if you watch this while we're talking, or if you go check it out, you're going to see there's shrapnel flying around, there's sparks, there's things floating through the air. Everything is moving. There's little fans in the background, things that you never noticed before that make the game, feel like a game instead of reality. To where in movies, like Hunter said, in movies they pay attention to all that. Everything has a little bit of movement to it, a little bit of flow to it, a little bit of. That's what makes it feel like real, even though it's an animated Pixar movie. Well, they're starting to add all that stuff into a game because the system can handle it. You don't, part of you goes, who cares if the background is glittering? It matters because you don't realize that your brain goes more. It feels more real, more alive. Right. Your brain registers when things are static or when things are alive, because in real life thing are alive.
It
so
does
when
make
you play that game, it's going to make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. Even if you go back and look at some 2D games, like look at the original Mario and then look at a Mario where even if it is a side-scrolling 2D, they still put some movement in the background.
Yeah.
Makes a big
still
difference.
Adds depth, and you're not just looking at a solid screen in the back. So, yeah, they've definitely taken that move, Ryan. I agree with you with many games, not just this one, but in the future you see stuff like in this gameplay right now. Outside the window, there's stuff going on.
Everywhere.
So it adds such a more of a realistic feel that you're in a world and a life that's busy, that's going on, and
and chaos is ensuing everywhere you look. Yeah. And another thing about this trailer, when you guys go and check it out, is I'm really impressed with how you move through these rifts. So the point of the game is that Ratchet and Clank actually get separated. At least that's what the trailer leads us to believe. And they even reveal a new character who looks kind of like Ratchet, but it looks like a female counterpart from a
Yep.
different
Yeah,
universe.
it may be even that she's doing the same thing as Ratchet in an alternate universe, right? So she's geared up like him.
Yeah.
And then you just suddenly get this vibe that she connects with Clank, and you're like, wait, what the heck happened here? So you may get to play as both characters. That would be my guess.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, is that she's going to be a new character introduced to the game. So that's really exciting. But I didn't mean to get sidetracked on the story. What I was really wanting to point out, and when you check it out, guys, you'll see what I'm saying, is when you go through the rifts, it's taking you through different universes or dimensions. So literally he'll be going through a jungle area, go through the rift, and then there's this futuristic robotic looking city from a whole other universe. And it's seamless. It's not, hold on, let's load the level. Oh, here we are. It's literally he's going through the rift, and there it is.
Right.
That's super impressive to me.
And we don't know if in the game, if he's activating that rift, if they just show up because the universe is tearing apart, right? We don't know yet from the preview.
Well, in the gameplay, it looks like
good.
he has a tool to go through a rift.
Oh, did he? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. At least that's what it looked like.
Oh, that's cool.
In the actual gameplay trailer, regular gameplay of the system. But yeah, overall the game looks. That one just had me hyped because of everything they put into what was going on with it. After that, they show a game called the name of it. I'm going to kill the name here. It's Project Athea. And,
Project Athea.
Yeah,
Pretty solid.
This is by Square Enix. It was a fairly short trailer. It's called, like I said, it's called Project Athea, and it features a werewolf-like, some werewolf-like creatures, and some flying sections in the trailer. And it's supposed to be completely exclusive to PS5.
Yeah, and there were definitely some previews during the PS5 release that were like, "What is this game?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them looked interesting. Some of them just looked weird, right? Which we'll get to some of those. But there were enough. To me, there were enough big games that looked good that it got me going. You know what I mean? Got me kind of excited.
Yeah, especially for launch. I think they said there's like 25 confirmed games to launch this thing with,
Was there?
which is pretty impressive in my book.
Yeah. Now, the next game that they showed I thought was pretty interesting too, and I'll throw this one up on the video for you guys. It's this one starts off in a futuristic world. It reminds me a little bit of Cyberpunk. Kind of.
The graphics. The graphics look great on this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, neon lights. You're in some alleyways. What you notice is you're seeing only robots. That's what makes this this trailer itself pretty interesting to me. You only see the robots. So it looks like humankind has been eliminated. Maybe is kind of the feel that I get from it. And you're just following this little stray cat that's wandering the cities. And so I don't know.
It kind of looks like almost as if that's your character.
Yeah,
possibly, or at least that you play as the cat at some extent. It doesn't give you any gameplay previews, and it doesn't give you much other than the graphics look great. You can read into it. You know, my mind wandered, of course, or wandered. I mean, and I was kind of like, well, if it's all robots, then maybe you're a human and you can't go out as a human because the robots are against the humans now. And so you're using this cat to kind of investigate and do different things for you that you've trained. You know, and you're seeing through some little cameras on the cat or something like that. But they don't tell you much, right? It's one of those like, what is this? What are we doing? Interesting.
It's like, what is this?
Yeah. It looked good. It didn't look like a low-key game. I mean, it looked like they put some money into the preview for sure.
Yeah, it definitely looked good. The next scene that they did was the actual reveal, not of the PlayStation 5 itself, but just a recap of equipment that it had in the game. So they go over, you know, of course, the what is it, the 4K HD Ultra Blu-ray system. They kind of tout that. They show the ultra high-speed SSD that you get in it.
Oh yeah, everybody's raving about that. It's supposed to be a game changer for the whole gaming world. We're going to see that SSD influence everything on PC and everything.
Yep. So they show a little of that.
That
nothing
gives you an example of the haptic feedback on the controller, right? This new controller has haptic feedback, which some of you guys may not know what is haptic feedback, man. The controller always vibrated. No, not like this. This is going to vibrate in a sense that can pulse at different strengths, right? You'll feel it and maybe you pull the trigger, it's going to vibrate in that trigger. If you were to get hit from one side, it's maybe going to vibrate on that side, right? And it's going to vibrate at different levels. And so say you were wading through water, it's going to give you a sense like you're wading through water rather than just vibrating or not vibrating. So it's very different than the controllers we've had in the past. I think it's going to be a big jump for immersion. I love that. Almost makes me think of those, those impact jackets that started getting popular a few years back with the acoustics on them. This is kind of like that, but still through vibration. And so you're going to definitely get the vibe of different feelings for your steps. Maybe even some games are going to go, it's going to vibrate different when you're walking through snow versus walking on solid ground. You know what I mean? So you're going to notice a lot of little variations that you didn't think a controller would have that much effect, but I guarantee that kind of feeling of the game and really using the sensation of touch, I think is going to be really cool. I think that's actually one of the things I'm more excited about than even some of the graphics upgrades. And I know that might sound silly, but I'm all about immersion. I really like the idea of immersion.
They also discussed the adaptive triggers, which I think is going to be pretty amazing too. Which will simulate pressures and things like that. The next game that they revealed on the list is called Returnal. This is from Sony, and it looks pretty interesting. It basically shows a person that's had a crash landing on an alien planet, and as you're going through the game, you find out that the main character, this female astronaut, is reliving the same scenario over and over again, and it's almost like each time she relives it, things are getting worse. Something's poisoning her mind is kind of what I got out of it, and it looks like it could be a good sci-fi horror game to get into. And
you really don't know if she's actually living it or is she trapped. It's maybe some kind of parasite or something, and she's sitting still the whole time, right? But this is what she's seeing. It's one of those that leaves it very open-ended in the preview, but the graphics look great. The story looks interesting. I always have high hopes for these new iterations of horror-type games. Some of them pay off, some of them don't. We'll see on this one.
Yep. It's definitely a crapshoot on that. The next game that they reveal in the event is Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which is, if you don't know who Sackboy is, that's from Little Big Planet. Is who Sackboy is, and it looks pretty much the same. More clean, defined graphics in the game, but still the same style as Little Big Planet. Except this time it looks like it's going to be more adventure-y. So, it seems like the character was moving more in a 3D space rather than a platformer.
Oh, wow.
So that looks pretty cool. They did have some scenes that go back to the old 2D, and when I say 2D, guys, I actually mean side scroller.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Not necessarily actual 2D. Still 3D.
Right.
So that looked pretty cool, and probably be good for your kids. The next game that they introduced, which looked like it could be something interesting, that is, it reminded me of Twisted Metal. The name of the game is Destruction All Stars. This is a game that showed destructible vehicles, almost like these people are going against each other in an arena type situation.
Yep.
What I was really impressed with this game on was the fact that it looked like the characters in the game could get out of the car. And if you're listening, guys, on the podcast, the graphics kind of like a Fortnite type graphic overlay.
Yeah, I would put a Fortnite on the characters for sure. And I would say almost like a what do you call it? Rocket League.
Yeah,
on the car portion.
Like a cartoon realism on the cars.
Yeah.
Not quite as vibrant, when you do the vibrant clay, almost like I want to say claymation looking colors of Fortnite.
Right.
It doesn't look as
yeah. There's more depth here for sure.
Yeah,
It's got a different vibe.
But yeah, so playing as the characters, jumping off cars, sabotaging the arena when they get out of the vehicle. I mean, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they didn't tell you much about it. It's almost like, let's say it's my guess when I was watching it was that it's almost like a destruction derby.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't die with your car, so you can get out and switch cars my guess would be if you don't die while you're in human form. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
So you can use your car to damage other cars, or you can, if you know your car's about to get destroyed, you can kind of send it on a Hail Mary mission and then try to get to another vehicle. But they didn't tell you much, but I could tell you the game looked fun for sure. It looked interesting, looked unique, and I loved Twisted Metal. And so if we get like an amped up modern day Twisted Metal,
oh yeah,
man, that sounds fun.
Big shout out to Brodsy TV. What up, brother?
What's going on?
Yeah, so the game overall looks good. We'll just see if they can deliver. That one is strictly trailer. There was no gameplay for that, so we can only go by what we think it's going to be.
But the trailer wasn't overdone. The trailer looked like they could have the gameplay at that quality.
I'm saying I'm more interested to see, is the gameplay going to hold up?
Right. Yeah.
You see,
there was a big variety in what those cards could do, though, in the trailer. So
right. But that's what I'm saying. In the trailer, they're doing it, but how's it going to play out in the game? Is what I'm saying. The next game they show is a game that's called Kinna Bridge of Spirits. This is developed by Ember Lab, and it really has some Pixar-like visuals in the game. Has kind of an ancient feel, an ancient Asian feel to it is kind of what I get from it. But beyond that, it just shows some cute creatures, and then there's some kind of evil or something going on there. Doesn't really give us much, but the art style of it is pretty sweet. And I feel like PlayStation did a lot of these in their gameplay.
Yeah.
The next game
I think we're just seeing that more often, right? We've reviewed a few games like that and kind of talked about them at least that are more on the artistic or kind of a spin off of your normal gameplay.
Oh, yeah.
They're more about a story and maybe like almost like you're playing through a movie with great artistic style. And so we're seeing more and more of that come into the game scene. I'm definitely not against it. I think it's interesting. I like seeing changes like that.
Oh, yeah. The next one they show was really, I didn't really know what to think of it. This one's called Goodbye Volcano High. Literally looks like a cartoon. I guess if you're going to compare it to something, I guess it could be kind of like Cut Boy. But Cut Boy is more of that old cartoon style.
Yeah.
So I would say with
Cuphead. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Cut Boy.
I said Cut Boy.
Yeah. You're good.
So this is kind of this reminded me more of like a 70s cartoon, like Scooby Doo.
Okay.
The graphic style of this one.
I agree.
To me, kind of a Scooby Doo, or maybe not even that. Maybe what was that one we liked back in the day with the cup and the meat dude and the guy with the mustache?
Hunger Force Aqua Team.
Force. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. So it's got some fantasy creatures that are hand drawn, and it's going to be an emotional game set in the end of an era, and it will arrive 2021. And it will feature a unique indie style soundtrack, if the trailer is accurate. But yeah, you can see there in the video if you guys are watching live stream. It's
Japanese style animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't really know. Is it just going to be story driven? You make choices as you go. I don't know. We'll see. They didn't really show any gameplay.
Yeah. So some of these previews didn't tell you much. You kind of just got to go, oh, that looks interesting. But that's one of the problems with previews all the way back in the day. What was that game that used to come with PlayStation and the preview looked amazing? Ultimate something. It was Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. That's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
In the preview, it was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Start the game, and it was this top-down
It was Diablo
Nintendo
style.
feeling. Yeah, and you're like, what the heck? I remember being so
Wasn't what I
disappointed.
expected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't like that, you're screwed.
Yep.
If you don't like that style, it's like, oh, well, thanks. Thanks for letting me know, guys.
Yep. That was before people got on YouTube and watched previews, gameplays and all that.
Yeah,
You
we
just
didn't
watched
have all that jazz.
all you got was the commercial, which was basically
Uh-huh.
false advertisement.
Now people are on here going to be like, Marvel, I remember that. He's stupid.
Uh-huh.
There was YouTube all over the place. He's just old.
No, that did not. Hey, back then when that game came out, there was no YouTube going on.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We'll have to look at the year and
Hey, this game
check
right
that
here,
out.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready for this one.
So the next one, guys, that they announced was Oddworld Soulstorm.
Mhm.
This looked really cool. Graphics looked really great. I mean, it's what you expect from Oddworld, but
Mhm.
just crisper. Just more detail to everything in the
Oh,
game.
yeah, so much more depth. I mean, the preview
Mhm.
obviously looks amazing, the
Yep.
cinematics, but the actual game itself has way more depth.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say this one looks pretty dark. Gives a really dark, intense tone.
Mhm.
The last one was really dark too.
Yeah, this one looks. I don't know. It looks like he's very, Abe looks like he's very distraught in the game. And then there's a little scene at the end where he's cutting out the stitches or the
Mhm.
little deals that keep his mouth shut. So yeah, it looks good though. I'm pumped about it. So and that'll probably be a good solid game.
Mhm.
Another one that they talked about. This is gonna be a game that's made by Bethesda and Tango GameWorks.
Yes.
The name of this game is Ghostwire Tokyo.
Mhm.
This one looks really cool. Everything in the game looks like spirits
Right.
that you fight. And let's see if I can pull you guys up some gameplay. I know Ryan's seen a little bit of it, probably saw a little bit of it with me. But yeah, this one is very creepy. Gives me a Silent Hill
Definitely.
kind of feel. Not so much Resident Evil, but more of a, or like Fatal Frame. If you ever played Fatal Frame back in the day.
Yeah, but it's got a completely different art style. That's what's cool about it.
Mhm.
It's almost got this Japanese style art mixed with some modern, maybe, I don't know what to call it, cel shaded, but it's a very unique artistic style to the game,
Mhm.
combined with that Silent Hill vibe. You know what I mean? It's a little more action adventure than Silent Hill by the preview, and you'll see if you ever check it out.
Mhm.
But it looks good. Like, that's what I was saying, where things don't have to look realistic. This game, when you're watching the preview, looks new. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It looks fresh. It's different. It's not photorealistic, but it looks so much sharper than any game of that style in the past. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Right.
There's way more depth to it, and it just looks really, really interesting.
This might be a good one for us to go and play through, just because of its oddness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like
So,
those games for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Enough creepiness, but also enough artistic that it's got a nice balance to it.
I'm frozen again, guys. Sorry, but just continue. I'll figure it out.
You what?
I'm frozen again.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You're good.
I'll join back soon.
So then after that, they revealed the game called Jet. That's with 2 T's. It's called Jet: The Far Shore. And in this game, the world is shown as a dreary but a rocket fires into space and shows a series of satellites that appear to hold some sort of future for the planet. Hundreds of years later, a small ship flies to a much more vibrant land.
Yeah, that was one of those. You didn't get a whole lot by the preview on that game.
Yeah, it was kind of like, okay.
Nothing that even got me really jazzed up either on that one. Like, it was kind of just like, well.
No, and it's kind of, it's almost like the land that you go through is very culturally spiritualistic and ancient.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you're going through, it almost looks like there's this weird technology vibe going on with it. So I don't know.
It looks futuristic, but like society reverted. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Or they've done this weird thing where they're using it but not embracing it in their culture.
Yes.
Maybe. like a separation of that. The next game that they show is a game called Godfall. This one looks pretty cool. Kind of reminds you of like a Dark Souls meets God of War to me. I mean, I could be wrong in my opinion of this.
No, I thought that was that's a pretty good assessment.
Yeah.
That was my opinion too.
Yep. That's kind of what I got out of it. It was first shown several months ago, they say, but it features intense melee combat using a variety of weapons, as well as supernatural and science fiction elements, and you'll be able to unlock godlike armor to defeat your foes. And that's expected to come out on the holiday season.
Yeah,
Nice.
the different armors give you different. We did talk about that game a little bit. That one is the one where the different armors give you different
abilities.
Yep. And so you start off with the basic armor, and you earn different missions. And it was talking about, basically if you, if I remember right, it had mentioned that side missions and stuff like that will be important because there's going to be unique pieces that you'll get. But yeah, that game looked pretty intriguing.
Oh yeah.
And actually, I have to double check, but I think that game might have been co-op. But I have to double check.
Okay. Yeah, well, they didn't show. I didn't see anything in that gameplay that lended it to that. But
yeah,
I
that
could see
preview didn't show anything.
I could see them being able to implement that.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is made by Hyperlight Drift, and this game is called Solar Ash. It presents a hostile world, seems to reject the protagonist, and there are mentions of a void before the demonstration transitions to gameplay, and that one's going to arrive in 2021. So it's just
not every one of these games are available with launch. Just so you guys know, these are just the titles that are already for sure coming in this next season, if that makes sense. So some of them will be available at launch, some of them won't be.
Yeah, so it just kind of depends. But they will be available, I mean, that
shortly.
Probably that
6
first
months.
couple months or whatever, yeah. The next game they revealed, which I'm pumped about, I need to play the other one, is they announced Hitman 3.
Yep.
And the graphics on that look really good. My thing about Hitman, he has this weird thing about him that he just, he's kind of like, he just doesn't age. In the sense of, like, it's weird because you see an old Hitman game, and although the graphics aren't as good, they're still good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean,
yeah, it's always been at its. I think it's always had upper level graphics for its age, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the way the graphics are set up that makes it good during the gameplay. It's the darkness, it's the use of the lighting and things like that have always made that game play out differently. And that's because you're a hitman, right? They purposefully geared the game a little differently than in a little slower pace than, other games. It's just like Assassin's Creed is a different kind of style game specifically because it's played differently,
Right.
And I think that's the same with Hitman. It's always kind of, if you like the Hitman series, it's always felt on the cusp or on the edge. You know what I mean? It's always felt really good.
Yeah, and I mean, this one's no different. I don't think I have to explain a lot on this. It's Hitman, so just think better graphics and more missions to explore. And this game's set to come out next January.
Now, we've talked about this before. The only thing that would make Hitman mind-blowing, which would be if they made an online version of Hitman to where your hits are actual other characters that are trying to survive and build their character. And if they're dead, they're dead. I mean, that'd be such an intense game.
Yeah, but then they get into stealing our idea,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they can't have that.
I'd let them steal the idea though, because it would be such a good game.
Yeah. Oh man. So the next game that they show in the series here is a game that it's another one of those. It's interesting, to say the least, in its art style and what they're doing with it. The name of this game is Astro's Playroom. This is like if you've done the Playroom on the other PlayStation game. It's very kid friendly, vibrant colors, and it just
Right.
looks like it's a play on that. These little robot dudes, they're gonna basically expand it, is what it looks like.
Right.
But so it's probably gonna be like a mini game, and I wouldn't bet on it
Expect
being
too much out of
anything.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
The next game on the list, this one is another one of those. It's definitely an indie title, but it's interesting. And the name of this game is Little Devil Inside. This is going to be an adventure game with a unique aesthetic, and it involves mystical creatures. It features a mix of stealthy exploration, direct combat, and even hunting wild creatures like dragons.
Yeah, the best way you could describe the graphics on that game, if I was thinking properly, is almost like an origami style, right? Because there's videos and even cartoons that exist, like animated movies, that have they're still sharp and they're getting better with the modern day, but they almost have a folded paper vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything is very piece by piece that's put together. And I don't know if that's Japanese style or not, but it makes me think of a Japanese movie. And if you guys, it's very unique artistic style. I'm trying to remember the movie that kind of makes me think of that. I think it's called Koju. Is that what it's called?
The last string or something like that.
Yeah. That one makes me think of this style.
Kobu. I think it's Kobu.
You're right. It's Kobu. It's not exactly a good comparison, but it's the same kind of feel, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how this game looks. And the graphics and depth of the game is super good. I mean,
what do you call that?
Really
it's like called stop motion or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a little stop motion feel to it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like claymation, but out of paper. It almost has that feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Not it's defined but not defined. In a way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks really cool. It's a blend of epic story. It looks like, and it reminds me of Monster Hunter World. So, a lot to it. So, I mean, this one could be a real, underdog.
It could be.
that
the previews on
series.
the previews on that one almost make me think we could be looking almost like at a new Fable.
Yeah.
Or Zelda or something. You know what I mean? Not that Fable had the opportunity to continue and be big, but they squandered it, right? To where Zelda did it right. But that kind of has that vibe. Like this could be a new something like that.
Yeah.
I hope it is, because I've been looking for a new game like that. So that would be cool.
I was excited to see it on PlayStation, because you see Nintendo churn out a lot of good little.
Yeah, it does have a
like
Nintendo vibe. That did have a Nintendo vibe. I like that.
Yeah. The next game on the list is a favorite of Hunter's. Now, I don't know if it's a favorite, but I'm assuming he's probably going to like it and want to get it. Really wasn't anything amazing to the trailer other than you're going into looks like a basketball court, probably a high school gym, and it shows a player dribbling and practicing his shots. And it just kind of shows off the intense graphics that they could do in this game. And then across the screen, it says NBA 2K21.
Yes.
So, Hunter, what was
those
your
games?
thoughts?
Those games are always impressive. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. You're okay. I am excited about that, and I do think that the graphics even looked better on that than any before, obviously. But I'm excited to see how they incorporate that into the gameplay and also what direction they're gonna take with stuff outside of online play, and because there has been a story aspect to some of those in this.
Yeah, that's a hint to some in-depth campaign mode.
Yeah, so
I think.
So I'll be excited to see that.
But you're kind of a buff on some of those games and some of the issues they've had before, like the NFL and stuff. Do you think that they're going to be able to bring you from high school through college into the NBA? Do you think that's something that? Yeah. Okay.
It won't be. Cool. It won't be what you in the terms of thinking that you're going to play 3 years of games or anything like that. Probably what you've seen done in the past in some of the old NCAA games that were on Xbox or PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 was you played the high school playoffs, and then it took you into college football right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they would give you a score aspect of how well you did. The recruiters would put you on second or first string, and you had to work your way up to be starter, stuff like that. I've seen that even done in an NBA game where you play like 1 or 2 high school games, then you play the college playoffs, and then you're in the NBA. So
Yeah.
it's just, and I like that. I like when they do that, but
Mhm.
they need to amp it up maybe a little bit and
Put a little more depth to the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the trailer doesn't let us know
Tell you
any of
anything.
that.
No, it's just kind of a tease.
Just a show off of their graphics capabilities. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it's always welcome to play a new sports game on your new console. I feel like that's always like a tradition. Get some kind of sports game and see how real it looks. But we're going from realistic back to artistic. This next game on the list is another one that intrigued me. It could be really good or it could be really bad. The name of this game is called Bug Snacks. This is a charming game featuring a Steve Irwin-style wildlife expert. Bug Snacks is from the creators of Octodad, and creatures are mixes of bugs and snacks, such as burgers and strawberries. It looks really weird.
As soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, cloudy with a chance of meatballs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 2, where the food came alive. That's exactly what I thought.
it looks like a Little Big Planet product for sure. Like
Yeah.
in the same universe or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it looks really good. So I'm pretty excited about that one. Yeah, it's just funny. Like it shows the guy eat strawberries and then his hands and arms become a strawberry. It shows bodies made of watermelon, centipedes that look like they're hot dogs connected together. You know, just weird. You know, it really has the. What was the name of that game? Was it? Wasn't. Gosh, now I can't think of the name of it. It was a big one that came out back in the day that was supposed to be huge. It was, I want to say, it wasn't Sprout. It was something like that, though. Spore. That's what it was. Yep. This is very Spore-like to me, except for with food and, you know, better graphics, obviously. But Spore was supposed to be this thing where you make these creatures and you can do whatever with them, make whatever you want.
Okay.
You kind of like evolve.
And it's kind of like a genetics thing.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't successful. So we'll see what this game does with it. Looks really neat, though.
Nice.
They're like, well, you killed it with not knowing that other game's name. Thanks.
Yeah. At least we had Hunter to save the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was actually surprised that Hunter would know that game.
I've never even heard of
Seems
it,
like
so that was a big one to pull out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm whipped into submission. I have to have that stuff ready for the
Well, the next game on the list got me good when I was watching the trailer. And you're like, well, Clint, how'd it get you? Well, because they tricked me. They made me think that it was Skyrim. Not Skyrim, but like an Elder Scrolls 6 is what I kind of thought. It was not Elder Scrolls 6. The game that they showed here was Demon's Souls. And it looks freaking amazing. It looks like the same game. I guess it is the same game. It's just, up-resed, awesome looking. The graphics just look amazing. And it looks solid.
Oh, so you're saying Demon's Souls already exists? Because I don't know about that game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an older game. Yeah. And so this is going to be a remake.
Interesting.
Yeah. But the graphics look really good. But yeah, when I first saw it and they were showing like the mountainside and stuff, I was like, oh, this is going to be like an Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive or something.
Yeah, the graphics do look really good on that game.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so if you're a fan of Demon's Souls, this one looks really good.
So this isn't a part of the Dark Souls series, huh?
No,
it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, super similar, but not the same. Graphics look amazing though. So if that's what it looks like in the game, we're gonna be happy. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. So we got that. Next on the list is a game that's very intriguing, and talked to Ryan. He came to my house this past weekend to finally visit with me and the fam. And this next game I told him about, he was intrigued as well. And Hunter, I don't know if you've seen this one, but the next game we're going to talk about is by Arcane Studios, and they presented the game called Deathloop.
What's funny is I thought, wow, there's two games that have kind of, in a sense, the same concept, right? Because we saw the one where she wrecked in space. Mm-hmm. And so then when I saw this one, I thought, I wonder how you feel if you're the creator of this game and you're like, dang, two people kind of created. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same idea, same time period. And it may just be that they're at that point now that they can do that. But this game
and just so you guys know what I'm talking about, it's a game where you're just like the space game that I don't even remember the name of. You're repeating over and over. You're going to relive it and relive it and relive it. Of course, the concept of this game is completely different. That one was kind of a sci-fi based. You don't know why you're reliving it. This is very obvious, but I'm going to let Clint dive into that.
Okay. Well, this game is an assassin game. You go in, assassins are engaged in an ongoing duel, and it retains the studio's well-known first-person stealth. So the whole point of the game is to work through and take out your enemies. And it just looks really cool. It's interesting. It's got an interesting art style, sort of like the origami comment that Ryan made earlier. This is kind of more of a like a well-polished comic book style Borderlands.
Yeah, you could almost mix that with cel shaded.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Yep.
But it's very comic booky looking. Your enemies, a lot of your enemies look like the Crash Car dummies from back in the day.
You don't just have regular guns. You're not just a regular assassin. There's definitely abilities mixed into this, like technology abilities, not like magic abilities.
And it looks like right now you pick from 4 different, or no, maybe 8 different assassins. Almost could be like it's versus. There's 8 different targets. In the preview, he talks about that there's 8 targets that he's got to go for, and that there is one who is his nemesis, always trying to stop him. Right. And then at the end of the game, you in the end of the preview, I mean, it kind of looks like you could play as her too, right? So then suddenly you go, wait a minute, is this online? And there's 2 campaigns, and it's a real person trying to stop your mission, and you're trying to complete, and she's trying to complete, almost like you're both assassins going for the same targets. I don't know. It leaves that open ended, but it definitely, it's definitely not. She's not just a character in the game. You get what I'm saying? And the way I saw it was those were the 8 different assassins you could pick. So we really don't know because they really don't.
Maybe it is. He mentioned them as targets though in the preview.
Right, but I kind of thought they were targets within themselves. So you pick an assassin.
Oh, almost like each one is going after each other.
If this was online, it could be 8, like an 8-person death battle. You know?
Yeah, which would be cool.
We'll have to see. But it looks really intriguing, and
you know what? That would make sense if you are, what do you call it? If you're repeating every time you don't finish, right? That kind of makes sense with the multiplayer, and so you'd be online. Now, of course, when you die, guys, you can't. It's what's unique about it is it's not just those 8 people you're killing. You don't have to just kill 8 people in a row and you make it and you beat the game. There's all kinds of what would you call? I guess call them NPCs, right? I mean, for now, because we don't know what the game's about. But there's all kinds of regular characters that you'd call like pawns in the game. You know what I mean? That you're going to kill on your way to your assassination, and you can die by them too because it shows him die by them. Yeah. So if it is online like that, it'll be different than anything we've seen so far because you're going to have a combo of these bots that are clearly bots, not like bot characters. You know what I mean? And it's almost like you're playing through a campaign versus each other. If that's what it is, I'm really intrigued. I know we're stretching things here, we're guessing, but the preview, they purposefully made that preview intriguing. They left it very. They gave you all those hints and it's nothing, I'm going to be pissed. Put it that way.
Well, you could even do it both ways. You could do a campaign mode.
Yeah.
Where everything's simulated, and then you could do the 8 players spread out 8 different locations of the map, and these NPCs are your soldiers. Maybe it's like a chess game, move this
Yeah.
guy here, try to stop you here, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep.
We'll see. Maybe we're looking too much into it. But
Yeah, I don't know either.
I like to speculate. All right. Now for the grand finale. It's not really the final game, but for me, it's the final game. And this, of course, we're talking about a horror game that we know and love. All three of us. We talk about this game title or this game series all the time.
Resident
and that
Evil.
is Resident Evil Village. Yep.
This looks good, man.
This game takes place in a winter wonderland of horror. It reveals a shack that's dilapidated, and it's just blood, and kind of has the rural feel of Resident Evil 7.
That's what I was going to say. Very reminiscent of Resident Evil 7. It actually makes me wonder. The preview didn't give you the vibe that you're playing in VR, but it has such the same design that I wonder if it's going to be a second VR iteration. I'm not sure.
I think it could definitely be. They didn't mention VR in the event, but they did say that the VR headset would transfer over.
Well, if you watch some of the movements in the preview where his hands are in his view and he's grabbing the curtain, and when the other character is hushing him and stuff like that, it gives you this vibe that it's not regular controller. It just doesn't really feel that way. You know what I mean?
And it is going to be first person. I believe they were going to still go the same style as 7. I think what they're doing is they're doing the classics and then they're doing their current modern story.
Right.
This one gives me the vibe. Like I said, it's got Resident Evil 7 vibe as far as that rural feel. You're not in a big sprawling city. You're more out in the boonies. But this is like out in the mountains. And then it gives me the Resident Evil 4 vibe, which was definitely Leon going out to, the village out there dealing with those people. And,
well, is it just me, or does this one not? Is it just me, or does this one not add a Silent Hill, or what would you call it, like a cultish or, Celtic kind of a vibe to it? There's something different there, another element, like those little ladies that are there with the hats on and all that. It's almost got a little bit of a more demonic kind of feel to it. Like it's a little different.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's something else that I thought of, guys, as we're speculating. At the end, it zooms out and it shows, 8 for Resident Evil 8, and then it goes to Village. In the far right, you notice a mansion on the mountain. And it started making me think of Resident Evil 1.
Yeah.
The mansion out in the... where it was the Arklay Mountains or whatever it's called. And that was kind of a snowy, different kind of looking area right next to Raccoon City. Now, I'm just speculating, but I'm wondering, could this be the same spot?
Maybe
not
that's
sure.
pretty cool.
Now, the other part that's weird is Chris Redfield shows up at the end of the trailer, does some things. I don't want to ruin it if you're going to go watch the trailer, guys. But Ethan, he mentions the name Ethan. He's speaking to Ethan, who is from Resident Evil 7. He was the main character that we play all the way through 7. So keep that in mind. But
I think it was a great trailer. I think it had good preview, it had good gameplay. It clearly shows you're going to have that kind of mix of gameplay and cinematic that they brought with Resident Evil 7, right? And it had that first person vibe. It's a different vibe for Resident Evil. It was so good in Resident Evil 7. And I'm excited about that one. We're horror game fans for sure. And that one looks good.
That will be a playthrough. If I don't get the new console, I may buy that on PC and us play it through the Parsec.
Yeah.
You got to finish Resident Evil 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So, guys, we're almost to the end. I know you're like, wow, this event was huge. The next game that we're going to cover is Pragmata. Not really sure how to pronounce it. This one's a post-apocalyptic game set in a world where cats are now holograms. Kind of weird. It shows a cat walk up to a little girl, and the cat's a hologram. You can see through its body. There's some organs there. Kind of interesting. Then all of a sudden, a spaceman shows up next to the blonde girl. They have like some kind of disturbance in the atmosphere. Shows a
Mm-hmm.
big satellite, fall into this simulated looking reality world. And then they just dodge it with a little, fiber optic net they shoot out,
Right.
and they head into space. And it doesn't really give you much else. But that's set to arrive in 2020 or 2022. I mean, sorry.
Looks like a Kojima game.
Yeah, it does kind of look that way. And then the final game that they announced was Horizon Forbidden West. This will be the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. Do what now, Hunter?
Oh, I just repeated what you said. Zero Dawn.
Oh, yeah, Zero.
Yeah, it's the sequel for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the sequel to it. Just shows, the new environment.
To me, I wasn't super impressed. The cinematics on it looked good, but the portions that looked like gameplay, they didn't look like a huge jump for me. I mean, for being the new console and all. I know
The first one was pretty. I thought it was pretty, but it's been a long time since I played.
Yeah, it still looks really good. It just doesn't look that different. It doesn't look very upgraded, if that makes sense. You going to play that one, Clint?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Well, you don't need to. I just didn't know if you were going to, for anybody who's watching live. But yeah, that one for me looks just like it doesn't look disappointing because the first one looked great, but it doesn't look upgraded. That's the simplest way to put it. It looks like the cinematics look good, but the little scenes where you're like, yeah, that looks more like gameplay, they look,
Yeah.
not like a huge leaps and bounds from the last one.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, it's if you're into that art style, you're into that game. We never got to play the first one, so it's kind of hard to get pumped about the second one. But it does look good. And like Ryan said, I think it's just it already looked good, so now they just put a little polish on it, is what it looks like to me.
Right.
But yeah, so that's going to be the sequel to that. And then finally, they did the big reveal of the PlayStation 5 itself. And if you've been on the internet, you've probably seen the memes.
Yeah, you've seen it for sure.
of the internet router.
Yeah.
So they definitely are going with the black and white color variant.
I'm not against it at all. I am not against the router, and I'll tell you exactly why. It is different. Consoles always just look like there's a small adjustment. You know what I mean? And this looks like, hey, we're going to go ahead and step whatever direction we freaking want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're just going to do our whatever we want. We're going to make it look the way we want, and it's going to be different than any console you've seen before. I actually like that because everything for years now, for 10, 15 years, I mean, since any of the new consoles from 360 on, they all just kind of look like consoles, right?
Yeah.
A little more modern, but this looks like it's a completely different thing to me. Now, my only negative to it is by the preview, it almost looks like it can only stand. And that's going to be a problem because people don't want to only stand their console. Maybe not because the one side's completely flat, right? The left side's completely flat. Maybe you take the base off and it's not vented on that side. You can lay it down. Hopefully.
Like maybe
because
it's a sliding base.
Yeah, because to give people one option of placement that's a bad choice. But for me, the design is cool. I mean, the controller definitely kind of has an Xbox One vibe, which I'm not against either. I actually like the feel of the Xbox One controller.
I'm actually looking at that design. It does look like it could be a detachable base.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think it might be able to lay flat on that left side. And there's no vents just now when I saw that at the end.
I'm standing it up, though. It looks modern as crap, dude.
Well,
yeah, to me, it doesn't look bad. It looks like something high end.
People wanted to make fun of it, but the thing about it is nowadays, especially for married men, your wife doesn't want your game consoles taking up the entertainment area and looking all gamey, right? And so, to me, the controllers themselves look kind of sleek, like a remote. So they kind of blend in. And so does if it looks like an internet router, it's not an eyesore. It blends in with your modern equipment.
I'm going to say one thing, though, because we had, Xbox 360 was white back in the day. And the console being white's fine. The controllers being white, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
Because they get too dirty. They get too grimy looking, and they just don't look fresh and new anymore. And so I really hope, even with the initial launch, they have a black version.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that because, then later they come out with blue, red.
Right, yeah, they'll come out with everything. But I don't want to have a white at all if I were to get the console. I like the console being white. That looks cool, but I want my controller to be black. That's just,
Yeah.
We did talk about it, and I think maybe it did have a black version already when we reviewed the controller like 3 episodes ago.
They might have a black one.
I think they did. And it's just in this preview they wanted everything to match, and that's why we see the white one.
And then of course they reveal that they just revealed that they're going to have a webcam, HD webcam. They're going to have what do you call it? They're going to have headphones. Look like a nice pair of headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also showed off some other controllers. That they did show off a little remote control that looks like it's going to be able to control your media. So if
so you don't always have to have your game, because everybody uses their PlayStation and Xbox as like a TV console
with you. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that was really neat. And then it showed the docking stations for the controllers, the charging station.
Man, to me, everything just kind of looks sleek to me. I mean, it just looks good. I'm not against it at all.
My question will be: does all those accessories they showed off come with it?
But I'm the weirdo.
Like the usual.
Yeah. Actually, we were talking about that pre-show, and I was thinking there's been a leak that Clint mentioned about their, or maybe it was Hunter, about the price being, I think it was Hunter, $700. And I said, whoa, I don't think so. I think that's too much. So then I started thinking maybe they're going to have 2 packages.
Probably have a
one
bundle.
that comes with that. Yeah, one that comes with that headset and the camera. That's $700, and then one that just comes with your controllers and your remote. That's $500 or $550. You know what I mean? I can't see them offering a version, and the only version you can buy is $700. That's just not. It doesn't follow trend. I know phones have kind of gone up and through the roof, but it just doesn't seem right for the consoles. We'll see, but that would be disappointing for me for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It'll probably be bundled. You'll probably be able to buy the base, which is just the PlayStation, a cheap headset and a controller, or, a bundle, almost guaranteed. But another thing they revealed at the end of the trailer was you will also be able to either do digital or non-digital PlayStations. So what that means is one has a disc drive, the other one does not.
Now, what we don't know is if the one without a disc... Yeah. Say that again, because I think it did the volume down thing on you.
I think the one without the disc drive will be a little bit cheaper, is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking until you said unless it has a bigger hard drive. And you know what? That's an interesting thought. More and more people are going diskless, and if I was diskless, I would definitely want to go with a larger hard drive for sure. I mean, games, and the only reason is, not all games are huge. But just for the simple fact that Call of Duty Warzone is 200 gigs or whatever the freak it is enough for me to go, that's where we're going.
I still got a 50 gig update waiting on me that I haven't.
Yeah, we got these bigger capabilities. The console's going to be able to handle more flat jazz. So, I think you go diskless and you get like a 2 terabyte hard drive in that beast. Let's roll.
I'm going to say it right now on the podcast live. Okay. I don't play Call of Duty that much because I'm tired of the 25 gig and 50 gig downloads.
It does suck.
It turns me off.
Yeah. It turns him off, guys.
I'm just like, I don't really want you on my computer because you're slowly eating the entire thing.
Yeah.
So
I guess we're going to get to a point to where, the problem is when you have a computer that has 4 terabytes of space, it's fine if you have huge games and you end up with 40 games. That's certainly not that complicated, right? The problem is now you can store 462,000 photos. You know what I mean? Off your phone and stuff like that you store on there or whatever. And you're never going to go through any of that. So it's, there's these negatives to having too much storage where it's like, it's almost like makes you a virtual pack rat. Do we really need to have all that stuff? I guess if you kept one hard drive just for gaming and you had a little, 400 gigabyte that's for like family stuff, then that might kind of help you be more disciplined. But geez, it's just like even some of these phones. It's like my wife. I told her, hey, I got a 100 gig SD card that you can put in your phone, so you don't have to worry about deleting your pictures. And she said, no, if I have that, I'll fill it up, and then I'll never actually back them up or save them. And then if anything happens to the phone, they're just gone. Like that's too much space for me. And I was like, that makes sense,
Well, like my new computer that I got, it's got 2 terabytes, and I'm still just like, oh.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, it just fills up quick.
It's ridiculous. Well, that's it on the PlayStation Games event. We hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot to unpack, but to me, it was pretty decent, pretty solid. You know.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it, man.
I wasn't disappointed.
I'm into those indie artistic style games, and I like seeing games do different.
I mean, but I'm not even
different
disappointed
capabilities.
with the unconfirmed fridge design of the Xbox.
Mhm.
In my opinion, I said, well, I mean, to me, it kind of seems like a tower, you know, like a computer tower, and that's the direction we're going, anyways. So I'm kind of easy to please when it comes to design. I really just want it to be different. I don't want it to look the same that it's always looked. That's all.
Yeah. Well, Ryan's the guy. If you give him Crackdown 3, he's gonna be okay. You know, he's gonna be just fine.
If you gave me the Crackdown 3 I dreamed of and they advertised, then I would be okay and just fine. Are you guys ever going to let me go on this one?
No, never.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to crack down on you.
All right, thank you.
Well, we have a little bit of news we're going to finish, and then I think that's going to be it for the evening.
All right.
We're going to cut it off there because the PlayStation 5 event is so huge that it was just a lot to unpack. So me and Ryan brought some extra articles. Well, one apiece. Hunter, did you get anything?
No.
Okay.
I did not, but I'm excited to discuss what you guys have. I was all pumped up for that Valorant.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
Review.
go ahead and do it if you want to.
No,
let's save Valorant for next time. I think we're good.
Make you have a 2.5 hour podcast to trim.
Yeah.
I think we're perfect right now. I liked our PlayStation overview. I don't think we skipped anything to make anybody mad. And I think our news stories that we've got right now are both important and don't need to be. Mine can't be skipped. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's hit those and roll.
And I feel like Hunter should probably just take his computer with him to North Carolina.
Yeah.
For why?
So we can play some more Valorant.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I was confused for a second. I was like, I'll be back by next week.
I can't play it with Ryan, so.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know,
unless you give Ryan the
out there,
keys to your house and tell him.
Hey, you all know that I play Valorant, or that I play Shadow, meaning I can't afford a gaming computer. All the listeners know we talk about Shadow. There are things that are good about Shadow that I could, never be able to play. Any of these games we're playing with good graphics a lot of times on my computer. There's things that are bad about Shadow. This issue is not a Shadow issue. This is a Valorant issue. Valorant has pushed so hard with their new anti-cheat software, specifically for the reason so you'll know that nobody is getting any advantages or anything like that. And people really love their anti-cheat system that they put out. Problem is it blocks all virtual machines. And guess what? Ding, ding, ding. Shadow is a virtual machine. So I cannot even play the game. I can download it, but it will not start because it won't let me set up the security.
It says, you shall not pass.
Yeah, it does. So we'll see if that changes. We're trying to petition against, what's it called? Riot Gaming, and see if they will go, okay, Shadow, we'll put a clause in there that allows you through the security. But I don't know if they will, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Just play with Brazzy Gaming. He loves that.
Oh, yeah. That game. I did see an article on Valorant's anti-cheat system, and they were getting some flack earlier in the beta testing because the anti-cheat software actually installs to your computer. It's not really in the game. It's like a separate thing. And, it's made by the Chinese. So people were concerned.
It's got ground zero access, too. Like it's got way more access than most of your anti-cheat. That's how it knows you're on a VR machine.
Right. Yeah. And so people were like, hey, we don't want the Chinese spying on us. And so they had to come out and do this whole deal of like, no, it's only sending it to the computer and checking it, not sending it back. So, and
they've actually set it up now. They've changed it, not to go off a big track. They've changed it so you can, when you're not playing Valorant, turn off the cheat system because it's actually on all the time. Which made people nervous, like, oh, it's monitoring my computer. You can go in now and turn it off or even uninstall it. Used to you could only uninstall it if you uninstalled the game. Now you can uninstall it and reinstall it when you jump in the game
problem.
For those of you who are nervous.
But if you do that, be aware that every time you install the anti-cheat system, it makes you reboot the computer.
Because it's going in at ground zero. Telling you guys, it's a very in-depth anti-cheat system.
Yep. So me and Hunter took that without even knowing. But whatever. You know, we got
I
nothing to
don't
hide.
ain't worried about it.
Yep. All right. Well, we got a little bit more news to go. We pulled out one article apiece, and we're going to give you what we got. Ryan,
you want me to hit them with mine first?
Yeah, I think this is a good story.
You guys have heard of the Humble Bundle. We've talked about it before. Humble Bundle has put together a package. They've put together huge packages in the past that are decent deals. This is not as huge of a package, but it is a phenomenal deal. Okay. They call this the Humble's Fight for Racial Justice Bundle. It includes 50 games plus comics plus books. Okay. We're talking about a $1,200 value between all the things that you get. And all proceeds go to the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund to help fight against racial discrimination and issues that have happened due to racism in society. In the day one, when yesterday closed, they opened this up yesterday, and it's going to be going through, give me a split second. It's going to be going through 11 a.m. Pacific time on June 23rd. Okay. So you guys still have time. $30 for all of these games. We're not going to talk about this in depth because this is not a review or anything like that. Obviously, we are for sure donating to the funds that they're talking about. You can pay $30, which gets you this bundle, or you can donate more. But the minimum donation is $30. And yes.
And the $30 gets you everything that's listed in the pack. It's just they're giving you the opportunity to give more if you have more.
Yeah, and so it is considered a donation because all of the funds are going towards it from what I understand. It's not like a portion of the funds. So you've got games in here that you're not going to care about and games in here you are going to care about. There's 50 of them. I'm going to read them fast. Okay? Or should I just pick some ones that are...
I'd say pick some.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm going to do. There's going to be some that I skip here, guys, but there's 50 of them, right? We're just talking just the games, not the comics and books, okay?
Yeah.
You got the Jackbox Party. If you've got a family or friends, that's a super good game. And it's not cheap. I think that one's like $30 on its own, and it's worth it because the Jackbox Party Pack, this is Party Pack 4, has like 20 games in it on its own. So you get the Jackbox Party Pack. That's the couch play games and stuff like that. You can play online, basically trivia and all kinds of different stuff like that. Football Manager 2020. You've got, let me see here, NBA 2K20. That's a $30 game on its own. BioShock Remastered, $20 or $30 game on its own.
You get Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing, it looks like.
Yep. Overlord 2. Let's see here. Broken Age. I don't know what All You Can Eat is. That one's on there. You've got New Beginning, Final Cut. You've got... I know I saw one or two other ones that I thought jumped out to me.
Plunge. I've heard of Plunge.
Yeah, Plunge is a little bit bigger game. Planet of the Eyes. Darkest Dungeon. Shield Breaker DLC. It's one of those where there's going to be games in here you guys haven't heard of. Obviously, I'm not reading a bunch of them. FTL Advanced Edition. You get the War of Mine Final Cut. Endless Space Collection, and Age of Wonders 3. There's a bunch more games that you haven't heard of probably when you read these, or maybe ones you have decided to play. But for the couple bigger ones that jumped out to me, that's already worth $30, just like that. So then you've got all the other ones. You've got the comics, you got the books. Obviously, when they say $1,200 value, that's probably $1,200 value at full price, which none of these are full price anymore. So it's probably actually a little less than that. But it's a great cause, and it's $30. Most games nowadays are $30 on their own. So the fact that you're going to get all that, it's definitely worth checking out. And you can, I think you just go to humblebundle.com to purchase that. But these are all Steam keys, so you don't have to download them. You just purchase it, and then you own all those games. Download them at your will.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thanks for that. Some good deals. I'll probably get it because, it's just, like you said, so many good deals. Never really got to play BioShock back in the day, so to play the remastered version would be sweet just by myself. NBA, me and Hunter can get on there and play some NBA 2K20 for free. So that'd be pretty sweet. We could even stream that, actually. We could do a Delirious Dad's basketball night.
Yep,
pretty fun. For
sure.
So the news that I have is feel-good news as well. And this is pretty cool. So we're just going to get right into it. Akili Interactive's Endeavor RX, formerly Project Evo, may go down in history. It's the first video game that can legally be marketed and prescribed as medicine in the U.S. Yep. That's the landmark decision.
FDA approved, isn't that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It says right here, that's the landmark decision from the Food and Drug Administration, which is authorizing doctors to prescribe the iPhone and iPad game for kids between ages 8 and 12 years old with ADHD. After it underwent 7 years of clinical trials that studied over 600 children to figure out whether the game could actually make a difference. According to the company's favorite of the 5 studies, the answer is yes. 1/3 of the kids treated no longer had a measurable attention deficit at least one measure of objective attention. And then it says after playing the obstacle dodging, target collecting game for 25 minutes a day, 5 days a week for 4 weeks, improvement in ADHD impairments following a month of treatment with Endeavor RX were maintained for up to a month, the company cites, with the most common side effects from playing the game being frustration and headache, which makes sense because you're gaming.
That's a lot better than the drugs they've given kids. A lot of times attention deficit disorder, some kids have it extreme, but most of the time it's just the kid hasn't learned how to channel, right? And that's actually what this game is designed for, to kind of rewire the kid's ability to pay attention to more than one thing at a time. That's what ADHD affects. And so this game is specifically making you have multiple things that matter at the same time. And because it's fun and it's a game, you work on it without realizing you're working on it like it's a chore. And it's remapping some of your ability to do so in the rest of your life. I think it's a great idea. And they've really put a lot of time into developing the game, not just the clinical trials since it's been developed.
Well, and the beauty of it, too, is if the child still needs medication, you could give them lighter doses. In some cases, some of those medications can have the side effects of the kid's personality changes because of the medication. So, so the side effects
are much less with this.
They're not acting as they normally would. And so that's the negative part of it all.
And that's not with all kids, right? We know that some kids take the medication and it really just settles them out. And they're fine, and the medication's great for them. Some kids, it really changes who they are. You feel like you got a different kid. Nobody wants that going on. So this is a great alternative in my opinion.
Sure. And it's going to help parents with, because you see these, I've seen some severe cases of the ADHD and you're like, oh yeah, there's a big difference between, oh, that kid just can't sit still. Oh, that kid's got ADHD going on. So this is good. It's good to see some alternatives other than just medications. So I think that's great. It says here, it says right here, with Endeavor RX, the next step is to actually launch the game. And a Keeley rep tells The Verge, though it did technically open up enrollment for a limited number of families under the FDA's relaxed COVID-19 enforcement back in April. If you're interested, they have the company's website on the article, so I'll post this. When
I was skimming the article, Clint, I didn't see if it's free or if it costs. Or
I'm pretty sure since it's prescribed, that's probably going to be an insurance thing, guaranteed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think there's going to be something involved there. If I don't know, maybe not, but if if it's
it's not just a game that's for anybody to just play. You have to have the prescription to play it, don't you? That was my when I read it, it didn't seem like you could just jump on it because of the way it talked about that basically the sign up group. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's going to be a commercially based game. I think it's going to be just like a medication. So that's why I'm saying I think insurance will be involved in that, which is probably why they're not putting a price tag on it, because they're gonna try to treat it like you would a medication.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it would have negative effects on those without ADHD.
Right, because that's what I was just thinking. You know, why not just make it available for everybody if it'll sharpen the skills? You know?
Yeah, because the way they explain it sounds like it's pretty intense in what it's wanting you to do. So it's not just going to be a fun, hey, I mean, it will be fun, but
it's going to be a balance. It's going to be a challenge too.
While the FDA says Endeavor RX is the first prescription video game, it's approved. One of the Verge's readers points out that Bayer did introduce an FDA-approved glucose meter called Digit that could plug into the Nintendo DS back in 2010, which gave kids points for testing their glucose levels that they could spend in exclusive Knock 'em Downs World Fair video game. So that's really cool. I feel like that's something that was missed there. Like, we should probably have that more. Like Fortnite, they could really help out with that. You have these kids that are diabetics, you know?
I think you can have that kind of introduced into a lot of things. Like, let's say, hey, we also, along with this game, right, which is not a dance revolution or exercise game, right? A regular game. But along with this game, we introduced this bracelet that you can get. That's like one of these Fitbits, right? Tracks your exercise. And if you're getting this amount of exercise and nutrition or whatever it might be, right? Something like that that's good for your health, we're going to give you these bonus points or coins within the game or something like a loot box, right? Whatever. But that comes from a positive physical aspect that encourages you to do both. I think that's $1 million, $1 billion idea right there.
Oh yeah, because it helps the kid be more accountable to himself and learn. Hey, I got some physical activity before sitting down playing this Fortnite.
It also helps the parents to say, "No, I'm not buying you that loot box. Just go on a 15-minute walk, and you can get the loot box." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So there's some really cool ways that they could introduce technology with medical, with your health. You know.
Yep.
So, I mean, Hunter, what do you think? Yeah, you're diabetic, so.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Even for somebody my age, like if you didn't incorporate that into a game like Fortnite, you know, where you wanted to buy some different things on there and you could work off the money by going on a jog or something. I think I'd be going on more jogs.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. And you know, they're still going to make their money because they're making it the bracelet.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You know, sell the bracelet for $30 or $60. That's a lot of loot boxes, but the parents are going to be more apt to buy it, or even adults, because they know it's going to help encourage them to be more healthy.
You'd put a limit on it, like one per week or something like that. Like I couldn't just keep going on runs and getting skins.
Right.
Like,
but like in your sugar, for instance, if you can get on, of course, I guess you could cheat the system because you could just check your friend who doesn't have diabetes, check their blood sugar level, and you'd be okay. But, you know, if you're truly using it, you could be like, well, if you're between this range and that range,
then you get extra points because you're doing good.
Because you're keeping your diet and stuff in range right now while playing our game. So, I don't know.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So, really cool. The world's a-changing, and we're watching it happen before our eyes. Some positive, some negative. So, well, that's all we have tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great show. Next week, we will roll out, me and Hunter will be doing the Valorant review. We played a little bit of that, and so we'll introduce that to you and let you know what we
I'm going to review it as much as I can from like videos and the idea. You know, and I've done research on the game. I just haven't got to play it yet, guys.
Right. And who knows, maybe you can come over sometime before he gets back.
Yeah.
And just test it out to feel what it feels like. You might be able to, it's a small enough game, you might be able to just get away with doing it on your laptop.
Yeah. You know, that's true.
It's small. It wasn't, I mean, it didn't seem like it was very heavy on the PC.
No, it's not
graphic-wise
actually. One of the quotes from the developers said you can even run it on a toaster. That's why I made that comment in the beginning. They designed it to play on any modern computer. Basically, is supposed to be able to handle it.
Mm.
So that's
Cool.
an interesting question. I might try that.
Yeah, be very interesting. If you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to check us out over on our Patreon page. You can donate to the show there. We would really appreciate it. And if you like the show, make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing.
Definitely.
Letting people know about us, help us grow, and help, spread the Delirious Dad gaming community.
Yeah,
So.
spread the love, guys. Spread the love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're bored, go over and check out Fun with Rory. Ryan is feverishly working on getting new videos out. He is a dad and he does get busy, but she's got some cool videos that are age appropriate for your kiddos. We're talking, probably age range from 4 to 12.
Yep.
Seems to be what
Yeah.
Ryan's getting back on feedback. So,
Go ahead and go over there and check it out, even if you aren't bored.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
there you go.
And I will just say we're not building up anything just yet, but me and Hunter are going to be in talks of doing some video releases, and Ryan will be involved in that as well. But in the future, when Hunter's schedule slows down, we're going to be doing something a little new with our What's Cooking Good Looking segment.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be tasty.
So good and tasty.
so good and tasty. Kind of like this episode.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and stay delirious.
Stay dadding.
And stay gaming. This has been a Delirious Dads production. For more information about the show, visit our website at www.deliriousdadsgaming.com. You can also find us on facebook.com/deliriousdadsgaming, twitch.tv, and YouTube. Make sure you like and share our pages to help us grow the channel. You can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Please leave a rating and review if you enjoy the show. Thank you again for listening, and we hope to see you next